Thanks to Jersey Sports Zone, and Volpe makes almost the identical play.
At home, they call me Big Al, and I hit dingers.
Remember that young man, Big Al?
The Minnesota Lynx select Diamond Miller.
Video courtesy of Jersey Sports Zone.
It's an incredible goal, so that's nice. It's deserved the number one.
You got my food.
Number 2, New Jersey high school football.
Here on Jersey Sports Zone.
It is the most exciting time of the year when it comes to winter sports in New Jersey. Championship week is upon us. This is the Beyond the Score podcast, episode 22, presented by RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. I'm Rich Krampanis. A little bit later in the show, James Mooney has built a rundown to get us really fired up for what's about to come. We got a big week of championship action, and then from there, we transition right into the state playoffs, and it's going to be over in the blink of an eye. But before that, the big headline of the week in New Jersey high school sports was the announcement that Jeff Jasper at Pascack Valley, the head coach there for 53 years, has announced his retirement. He's in the final chapter here with a couple of regular season games to tune up for the state playoffs, and then one of the greatest careers in New Jersey coaching history will come to a close. Jeff Jasper gives us some fascinating thoughts on the state of high school sports in New Jersey today and why he ultimately stepped away. It's a riveting conversation, and I hope you enjoy it. When we come back, we talk with Jeff Jasper from Pascack Valley. That's when Beyond the Score returns right after this.
On the ice, you train to avoid getting checked. But in life, getting checked is the smart thing to do. By scheduling regular doctor visits and screenings, don't let joint pain, heart disease, or cancer go unchecked.
Get checked.
It was without a doubt what I thought was the biggest headline last week. The great coach at Pascack Valley girls basketball announcing his retirement, Jeff Jasper. I'm going to try and keep this tight because if I went through his entire resume, we'd be here all day and all night. 1,151 wins, 6 state titles, and a remarkable era of New Jersey girls basketball is about to come to a close. And I think the only positive thing I can take out of this, Coach, is we're going to spend the next few weeks celebrating what you've done, not only for this state, but the entire sport of girls basketball. So we welcome in Coach Jeff Jasper. So great to talk with you, Coach.
Thank you so much. I'm going to tell you, I think you overinflated who I am. So, but thank you for all of that. That's a sweet intro.
There you go. Well, tell me what got to the point where you made this decision that this would be the last year, starting a program that you began in 1971. It's going to be hard to think of somebody else leading Pascack Valley next winter on the sidelines.
Well, first off, the timing is right. When I was coming home from practice over the last, I'm going to say, month or so, I was just frustrated, and a number of years ago, a great coach who coached Kennedy High School, Lou Benora, wonderful man who passed, a handful of years ago. He once called me and he said, Jasper, how is it that you can maintain this energy and this excitement about coaching after all these years? And I said, Lou, the key is that the king has to leave the kingdom feeling good every day. I said, if I'm having 100 practices a year, I got to be walking out of there somewhere about 95 of them feeling really good about what I've done. I said, when it reaches the point where I'm not at that percentage, then I really know that it's time for a change. And basically, that's what really hit me up here. I always said there were 2 reasons that I would stop coaching. I mean, I love coaching. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love my classroom. I love teaching. But I always said that it would become down to 2 things. My wife's health. She's battled 2 different forms of cancer, and she's cancer-free right now, and she's lovely. Fantastic. And when I became irrelevant, right? So I think I've become irrelevant. I think my voice is, my core values of the way I coach and what's important to me. I don't think it's getting through. I mean, I think that's why when I was coming home, I was frustrated. So I need to be true to who I am, and basically it was that simple. I'm probably saying something that coaches go through regularly, but once you've been coaching for 53 years at the same school and being the only coach, I think it hit me in the heart. So that's really it in a nutshell. Pretty simple.
Coach, it scares me when you say that word, irrelevant, because I couldn't disagree more. We need more Jeff Jaspers coaching all over this state, not just girls basketball, because, look, on this podcast, we talk a lot about big name recruits and wins and losses, and we get hung up on all those things. I'm as guilty of it as anyone, but I can remember being at your 1,000th win back in 2018 and seeing the generations of young women that you had an influence on that all didn't play in the WNBA. They all didn't go score 2,000 points in college basketball, but they became great mothers, businesswomen, leaders in the community. That's what is relevant and is most important. And I wonder where we're at, that we continue to make sure that that is what's important. The experience of being on a team and going through a season and all the ups and downs. I just get scared when I hear you say that, Coach, and it bums me out a little bit.
Well, I love what you just said. I've always felt that's a big part of my philosophy about, as you know, I mean, I am the only coach of Pascack Valley ever had. I remember when I went in to talk to the athletic director at the time, Joe Talamo, whose daughter later on played for me. And Joe was just a marvelous man. And I went in to see him, and, it was my first year of teaching. I was an English teacher. I had just come back from Vietnam, if you know my story. And I said, Mr. Talamo, I would just like to coach. I'd coach anything, so whatever. And he said, well, he looked at me first off, and by this time my hair was long, and, it was the early 70s, and man, I was in platform shoes and wide bell bottoms and flowered shirts. I looked like John Travolta coming out of, And so he said, look it. Next year, we're going to start a girls basketball program. And if you're willing to take that for a year, you can be the boys JV coach the following year. I said, I could be the boys JV coach? Oh, my God, I'm so excited. Of course, I'm in. I'm all in. 3 days of practice, I marched back into his office, and I go, Mr. Talamo, all bets are off. I'm staying with this thing. I had 70 girls in what was then our back gym. We called it the Rubber Room. From there, it's just been one delightful dream after another. So it's always about, my philosophy has always been to expand the comfort zone of all my players. And to do that, sometimes I'm a little uncomfortable. They could be a little uncomfortable. But that's my core value. It was always, we were never, ever girl basketball players. We just happened to be basketball players who were girls. And so there was never any milk and cookies going on here. This was all about grit and competition and playing hard and being held accountable and responsible. And I thought all along I was always about strong young women. That's always been my case. So all those things that you just said, I'm fully on board with all that. And maybe part of the frustration here for me is maybe some of those values don't hold as much as they did. So maybe that's why I was coming home frustrated.
I can understand that. And I think when you look at where girls basketball as an entire sport is right now, especially here in this state, when you see the very top of the food chain, the Red Bank Catholics and the St. John Vianney's and some of the great public programs as well, they do play at an elite level. I had a couple of young college kids come with me to an RBC Paul VI game. I won't say what college they were at because I don't want to disparage them, but they were like, these girls could beat our college team. They were playing at that level that you just talked about, Coach. Where have you seen the evolution of this game as just far as, when you see a really good, well-coached team, it's got to bring a smile to your face because there's a lot of them here in New Jersey, aren't there?
I think the game in New Jersey is just spectacular. And the two programs you just mentioned, coached by, Joe and Dawn, are certainly two of the best non-publics out there. But there are also a heck of a lot of good public schools, as we all know. And the level of play is marvelous, okay? Overall. Also, the level of play could take a lot of work in a lot of places as well. So the elite are among the elite, but there are still an awful lot of places where there's still a lot of teaching that needs to be done to elevate the game. So I agree with you that the top of the food chain is like spectacular, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
How has this week been for you since you've made this announcement? Hopefully you've heard the accolades from every part of this state honoring you for what you've done for sports in New Jersey. How has that been for you?
It's been incredibly humbling. I can say that. My phone has blown up from the players that I had in my first years right on through the present. From everyone, and of course even nationally, because I just, last year at this time, last spring, I was the Morgan Wooten, Hall of Fame, inducted into Naismith Hall of Fame, through that, so that was a whole deal. So I've been on all ends of this thing, in a pretty cool way, and never, ever thought any of this would ever come from coaching basketball, for sure. But the connections I have, the people that I've met who have just influenced my life and enriched it, it's been sensational. So, the past week or so after my announcement has just been kind of like blew my head off. It's been so wonderful, actually. I mean, I'm just overwhelmed by it.
Well, Coach, I know that we've got the state playoffs coming up. There's still a little more gas in your tank for this season. You're gonna give it all you have. I feel like the amount of coaches, I don't know, what the future holds for you. I feel like there'll be every coach in New Jersey is going to want you to come in and do a little consulting work and come to a couple of practices. So I hope you're still going to be on the New Jersey basketball scene because we need you, Coach. And I think from now, anytime our paths cross, I will remind you how relevant you are and how important you are to this sport. So I hope that you take this opportunity to take in the compliments, but I hope this also isn't the end of the journey, and the things that you do are on your terms.
Well, that is so sweet of you. I will say that I'm moved by your words, by your encouragement. I'm still processing it all, so yeah, it's been a great ride. That's all I can say, and thank you.
Coach Jeff Jasper, head coach of Pascack Valley, thanks so much for taking the time. And, hey, next year we might have to hire you on the podcast here as our girls basketball expert. I'll have to get the budget for that.
I'll be available.
It's time for another Blast from the Past, brought to you by the Heldridge, New Brunswick's only 4-star hotel.
Welcome to Blast from the Past. I'm Tyler Mraz. One of New Jersey's all-time coaching greats is calling it a career. Pascack Valley head girls basketball coach Jeff Jasper has announced that he will be retiring at the end of the season. Back in 2018, JSZ saw a historic moment when Coach Jasper picked up his 1,000th career win.
Since 1973, Jeff Jasper has been coaching at Pascack Valley. 7 Bergen County championships, 13 sectional titles, and 6 state crowns. It's that passion and intensity that got the Indians coach to a most exclusive club. 1,000 career wins.
I'm so fortunate to be this coach in this school with these people all around me. I don't think anybody could have it better. When I say I'm living a dream, I am. I'm living a dream.
Blast from the Past is brought to you by the Heldrich, New Brunswick's only 4-star hotel and a preferred hotel of Rutgers football fans since 2005. The Heldrich helps you make the most of your game day weekend, providing premium accommodations in the cultural heart of downtown New Brunswick. Restaurants, bars, theaters, parks, museums, and more are only steps away. Whether you're traveling alone or with a large group, book your stay at the Heldrich and make the most of your game day weekend.
If you have chronic joint or back pain, this is probably where you spend your time. Might we suggest a better destination that's close to home? RWJ Barnabas Health, where orthopedic surgeons designed the surgical implants that are now used around the world, and where you'll be cared for by the same doctors that treat professional athletes and rising stars. Get back to what you've been missing. Orthopedic care. Do it right. Here, RWJ Barnabas Health.
Princeton Orthopedic Associates serves Central Jersey with world-class, world-recognized orthopedic care. A special thanks to Bill Heinsick and Princeton Orthopedic Associates for supporting New Jersey athletes and Jersey Sports Zone for the last 9 years.
It's really nice to be in a situation, in a place where there are very good people who take good care of people.
Orthopedics is it's not about saving lives, it's about saving quality of life.
A lot of people, we live high stress lives, so if you tell someone they can't do something for whatever reason, that's pretty traumatic.
I really take pride in trying to be empathetic and trying to put myself in every patient's shoes.
I want to take care of people like I'd want to take care of my family, and I think that when you do that and give somebody that family feeling and give them your honest opinion for what you would do, they value that.
Welcome back to the Beyond the Score podcast presented by RWJ Barnabas Health. We're joined by James Mooney, who's got the rundown cooked up. And, well, James, I hope you got some rest on Sunday because we are buckled up for a real gauntlet here over the next 3 weeks. I think this week that we're in the middle of right now is as intense a week for us as any in the 52 weeks of the year. I mean, literally everything's going on.
Yeah, no joke about that. We like to joke that the winter is like one big long sprint, and this is like the 100-meter dash. With everything going on this week between county conference championships, you've got the wrestling playoffs with the team duels going on. We're going to be putting on the miles this week, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. But why don't we look back on last week, because we did get kind of an appetizer to what this week was. We had a little bit of championship play in hockey, and that kind of sets the table for this week, where everything is nothing but championships this week.
Right. So we'll get started in the Shore Conference, your backyard, Rich, the Handchen Cup. Brick hockey, the 8th seed, bringing home the championship there. You were along for most of that ride throughout the tournament. What a story there, Rich.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, James. So Jersey Shore Arena in Wall has 3 different rinks going on at the same time. So first of all, I should have known better. I got there an hour before the Handchen Cup started, and I should have realized that an hour wasn't enough, because I think the entire town of Brick came to Wall for this game. So it took me a half an hour to find a parking spot, just circling around, trying to get some police help. And then the other part is it was an overflow crowd. So I had my spot that I kind of usually shoot up top there, and I get a little bit blocked by the net. There were so many people leaning over. I missed Howell's first goal because everyone was leaning over. So I have 7 heads in the middle just before this kid shoots the shot, Cartagiano from Howell. It's 1-0. I don't have a goal. So now I come to my reality. There's a lot of dirty glass. There's a lot of people on the glass. It's time for me to go into the penalty box. This is where I'm thinking, First of all, I'm the COO of Jersey Sports Zone when I'm not shooting, so I can't sit there and be like, "Hey, James, you gotta have to go into the penalty box." Like, I gotta do this on my own. This is my own accord, and so right away, everyone kind of notices I'm in there. I guess the payoff was, number one, big thanks to Brick and Howell for not hitting me in the face with a puck. Number one, and second of all, we were able to get what I think is this incredible moment. I feel like the image of Brody Acropolis getting hoisted on the shoulders of his teammates in front of the Brick student section should be hung up in City Hall at Brick. The angle and the video and the picture of it is so beautiful because I was able to shoot it from the penalty box. So that was a cool thing. I just thought that was awesome. And so Brick is the 8th seed. They're the last team to get into the Handchen field. They beat the number 1 seed Middletown North in overtime. Then in the semis, they beat the defending champs Marlboro Homedale in overtime. And then they turn around and beat a great Howell Matawan team 4-3. Acropolis with a hat trick. The third goal sends everybody into euphoria. And this is kind of the signal that Brick hockey has returned to where it has been for so many years. You got to take a little bit of a history lesson way back before you and I were ever on the scene or even thinking about being on the scene, James. Brick hockey was so good in the 70s and 80s that they played in the Gordon Conference.
Wow.
So think about that. Brick has won the Gordon Cup. That's where Brick hockey was. And now they are a co-op with their crosstown rival Brick Memorial. But this is a hockey town, and I probably can do a little bit of a deeper dive, but I know enough about this town. James, you ever see those movies, like mob movies, where like the FBI has those big whiteboards and they're tracing the lineage of the families and who's the capo and all that? So there's 4 families in Brick that, much like a mafia lineup, it all starts with the Oriema family. Bob Oriema, retired coach, beyond a legend in U.S. hockey. Forget about New Jersey hockey. He's a legend in U.S. hockey. It's the Oriema family, it's the Toy family, it's the Acropolis family, and it's the Murphy family. Those 4 families are responsible for this wild chain. Jake Toy was a great player for Brick a few years back. Again, it's a wild thing. So I feel like the 4 families came together. James Murphy is married to either an Acropolis, an Oriema. I can't keep track of all of it. Like I said, we need to get the whiteboard out. But how wild is that? And so if you look on the comments on Facebook, on Instagram, it feels like everybody in Brick has just come on to celebrate this great moment that Brick hockey has arrived once again, and they are the top team in the short conference. It's theirs, and they earned it.
They really did. They really did. That shot of Brody Acropolis and the team going into the stands, that's just something I know is going to end up in one of our sizzle reels when we do our best of 2026. And then, that's what high school sports is all about. It's these teams that bring these towns together, and it's really beautiful to see.
So as we were just about to come on here, James, we got the brackets out for all the winter sports. So we did a quick glance to kind of dive into it, and Brick is going to be in that South Co-op bracket. Interestingly enough, they are the 6th seed. That is a dangerous. That's a dangerous thing. And here's what's kind of ironic about it: Howell is the 5th seed, who they just beat. Toms River is the 3 seed, and so you got a lot of short teams there in South Public Co-op. The team that's the top seed is Robbinsville, a team that Tyler Mraz has shot quite a bit. They won the CVC championship on that same night that Brick won. So shout out to Robbinsville Allentown for winning the cup last week, and they're the number 1 seed in the South Co-op. So that's going to be a fun bracket. And while we're here, James, I'll get excited about hockey. Let's talk a couple of quick top seeds here. North Public, Ridgewood 1, the Losaro brothers, of course. Livingston 2. Northern Highlands 3. Northern Highlands beat Ridgewood to win the Big North Gold Cup, but Will Lasorro was playing in some big junior tournament in Minnesota, so he wasn't there. So that bracket it's loaded. You got Randolph 4, Morristown 5, West Morris 6. There's some really good teams in that North Public.
Yeah, that's a gauntlet right there.
South Public, Bridgewater Raritan is the top seed. I think no one's surprised by that. Sasha Obolensky, our guy who made ESPN's top 10 with his awesome goal. You've got Scotch Plains Fanwood 2, and then you got a team called Westfield. They're the defending state champs in public. And they're probably a little they don't need a lot of motivation, but I bet you they got a little chip on their shoulder that they're the 3 seed.
Maybe just a little bit.
That's going to be very interesting. So Westfield is a 3 seed. Wow. And then you got Middletown North as the 4 seed. They're healthy. That's the word I'm getting from my friends in Middletown. And that a full lineup, healthy Middletown North team, they went 13-5-2. They're talent-wise, that's another team that could be a bracket buster. So, wow, that is a fun one. And then let's go North Public Co-op, KJS United, the number 1 seed, Wayne Hills, Wayne Valley, and then PML, Paramus, Mawa, Lyndhurst. I saw them win the Big North Silver Cup at Wayne on last Friday night. They were fun to watch. They got a St. Joe's Montvale transfer, and they got a Bosco transfer. And so PML, I like that they have a name too, rather than me having to do like this giant, they couldn't fit the jersey to put Paramus, Mawa, Lyndhurst. Let's just call them PML. So I'm calling them PML from now on. I know we got to get through championship week, and we got a bunch of cups that are being played tonight, the day that this podcast drops. But I'm looking forward to this playoffs. It's going to be a wild run.
It really is. It as we go through it, just so many brackets just seem wide open, and I think that's just going to make for such a fun ride over the next few weeks.
No question about it.
Yeah. So we'll jump back into some of our county conference championship things, but we'll start actually in the prep world. Blair Academy wins the MAPL for the 5th straight year. Rich, you were front and center for that. Deron Rippey, we're getting down the final stretch of his high school career. What'd you see on Sunday night?
Well, it's funny. I put out there that they have won 5 straight Maples, which is accurate, but it's actually 8 straight Maples. And the reason why was I was sitting, while I was uploading my clips, I was sitting next to the trophy. So I looked over at the trophy and I counted the Blairs. I said, oh, there's 4 of them. I forgot about COVID.
Right.
So there was like a blank. They had won 3 more before that. So Coach Montagna put on there, it is 8 straight, but 5 consecutive years of Blair being on top. I think what's interesting is the Maple's a tough league. Blair only beat Hun by 7 in the semis. And then Tyler shot them earlier, Petty Blair. It was 18-point kind of, beat down. Petty came to play, James. It was 17-12 Petty at the end of 1. Blair's up 1 at the half, 26-25. And then in the third quarter, Blair showed why they're the number 1 prep team in the country right now. They got Rippey, which, look, we're going to see him. He's one of the best players in America, no question about it. They got other guys. Jane Chapman, I think, is a fantastic player, going to go to the Rhode Island Rams in the Atlantic 10. He's got that grit, and I think it's going to translate really, really well to the Atlantic 10. I think he's going to play really well. That's a great get for Rhode Island. Coleman Elkins is going to Texas. Isaiah Carroll's going to Penn. And when you just see all those guys kind of, they take their turns of getting going. Carroll was great in the third quarter. Hit a couple threes, had a dunk, got teed up for hanging on the rim. But at that point, they built that double-digit lead. So, look, Blair is going to have the Prep A state championship. Assuming they get there, will possibly face the Patrick School. And then they're going to go off to the Nationals up in Massachusetts during our week where we're doing the New Jersey basketball state finals here. So, Blair's got 1 title checked off and 2 more to go. Can they win the Prep A again? And can they be on top of the mountain as the best prep school in America? It's all right there in front of them.
Yeah, and we'll be anxious to find out if they can finish that job. So we'll move on to the Bergen County Jamboree semifinals. Were on Sunday. St. Mary Rutherford making their first ever trip to the finals, beating Tenafly. Our guy Sean Dugan was front and center for that. Rich, big story up there in Bergen County.
Yeah, again, a team that we have had on our highlights this winter, and they don't have very many losses, but the couple of losses they had, they lost to CBA. I think they lost to Gill by 20, and since then they've kind of found themselves, and 17 straight wins. They took care of a great Tenafly team, and look, that's a big deal for St. Mary of Rutherford to be in the Bergen Jamboree final for the first time in school history, and now they have a chance to try and play spoiler. They're going up against the number 1 team, Bergen Catholic, who will be heavily favored, and can St. Mary give them a game? And what a great way to get ready for the postseason, where I'm going to pull up my bracket here because they just came out, James. I think St. Mary is the 4 seed, if I'm not mistaken, in non-public B North. How about this little pairing here? You got Gill St. Bernard's, Roselle, Morris Catholic, St. Mary. That's the top 4 seeds in non-public B North. And then on the bottom side, Rutgers Prep is the 1 seed, who we've seen and has been fantastic, and Holy Cross Prep from South Jersey is a 2 seed, followed by Holy Spirit.
Holy Cross Prep having themselves a heck of a season. I'm actually going to be seeing them tonight. We're recording this on a Monday. The Burlington County tournament. A lot of upsets this morning, so Holy Cross Prep in good position to win the Burlington County tournament. Holy Spirit, I saw them 2 weeks ago. They had been playing some great basketball. Fell short to rival Atlantic City over the weekend in the Cape Atlantic League tournament, so they'll be getting themselves recharging a little bit as they get ready to go after a sectional championship here. And Doane Academy, and the 4 seed in that South Bay, which kind of brings us to our the next thing on the list here. We have been talking about the potential for a shot clock being added to New Jersey high school hoops and lacrosse. Doane Academy played Shawnee in the Burlington County tournament this weekend. Our guy Tyler Miraz was there. Doane Academy held the basketball for 7 minutes, 55 seconds in the second quarter. 3 points scored at the end of that possession. That was the only basket of that quarter. And it's kind of reheated that debate is, does the state need a shot clock? Rich, what do you think? It was an interesting text that we had gotten from Tyler over the weekend.
It's an interesting dilemma because we try as hard as we can to keep everything extremely positive on our social media channels and our highlights, but this is something that you just described, James, that gets people fired up. The basketball purists of the world don't want to see a game with a very good Doane Academy team. Let's not lose sight of that.
Right.
A very good Doane Academy team. So the argument on the first hand could be they don't need to hold the ball for 7.5, 7:55. They decide to do this in the second quarter, and they did make the basket. So they went from up 10-7 to up 13-7 at the half. They did nothing wrong. Everything was totally within the structure of the rules of New Jersey high school basketball. The flip side could be, well, Shawnee could have started fouling. Shawnee could have pressured and tried to create a turnover. I think at our core as fans, we're unbiased in this, but I think one thing we're biased about is we want to see highlights.
Right.
We want to show awesome things, right? And James and I will tell you, I don't know, if you knocked us out with truth serum, we would say to you, I just want to see a good highlight.
Right.
I don't care who it is, right? Like, we don't have a dog in the fight in any game we go to. I'm rooting for highlights. And so holding the ball for 7 minutes and 55 seconds is not conducive to us shooting great highlights. So as I told Tyler, like, hey, look, you got to report it. It happened, right? We're not going to weigh in with our opinions in the highlights about, hey, what about a shot clock? Or, oh, I can't believe Doane did this. That's not for us to judge. But I do say we would like to we would prefer a little more of an up and down affair with, a few dunks, a couple half-court shots. Let's just say the second quarter was not in consideration for JSZ's top 10 plays. It was taken right off the board. Right,
exactly. I remember texting Tyler. It was like, well, the silver lining is the second quarter will be easy to recap. So
that's right.
But
what I told Tyler, James, and I don't know if you'll remember this, I've never seen it happen in the second quarter. I think that's what's unique about this situation. There was a Super Bowl Sunday where I shot Roselle Catholic coming to Rumson Fairhaven, and it was Naz Reid, 6th Man of the Year, $50 million contract Naz Reid, and Roselle, who were 1 or 2 in the state, playing a good public Rumson squad. And Rumson started hitting threes from all over the gym, and I think Roselle was a little shell-shocked. It took them a while. Roselle took the lead by 4 or 3, and they decided to hold the ball for the final 4.5 minutes of the fourth quarter. And people were, I could remember the reaction. It was just like, mighty Roselle is sitting on the ball going, on his against his school. So I remember the fans were booing and everyone was talking about it and everyone was fired up. Roselle made a free throw, won the game, and that was the memory that came up when I saw this Doane situation. But that was in the fourth quarter, and you could almost understand the strategies. Like, hey, we're winning, let's just hold the ball. We got the lead, and it was only for half of the fourth quarter. It wasn't for 7 minutes plus. So
right.
I just find that wild and interesting.
Yeah, it's like you said at the top of this discussion, it's completely within the rules. They're not breaking any rules. They're not doing anything. It's just that's not what fans want to see. And I remember a situation our guy Mike Frankel went through. He was covering the Patrick School against St. Augustine, and the Patrick School did that to St. Augustine, just held the ball for a while. It's an interesting thing. It's tough to see when we're trying to, showcase great athletes and highlights and things like that. But, I think that extreme is how we've kind of gotten here with the shot clock debate. And now we're, seemingly at the 1 yard line, getting that approved and all that. So, it's an interesting thing. I'd love to see action-packed games. It's tough to see guys sitting there holding the ball. But hey.
And I got to live the shot clock in the Blair Petty game in the MAPL final. Mm-hmm. And intense defense, a lot of possessions being held right down to the very end, and hard shots being forced. I loved it. So I think, the shot clock, it looks like it's coming, and based on the reaction from everyone, and again, credit to Doane, they won the basketball game, and they did everything right. But maybe that's the last time we're going to see something like that.
Yeah. And shout out to Doane Academy. They just knocked off the top seed in the Burlington County tournament, Lenape, this morning. Again, we record this on a Monday. So, the 8th seed on to the semifinals.
And they have the number 1 play of the week. We got the poster dunk from Doane in the Prep Beast finals. So, yeah, plenty of shout-outs to Doane Academy.
It's official. Jack Hughes has signed on the dotted line.
Jack Hughes has just inked a new deal.
He's on our team now, baby. He's locked in.
Jack Hughes has signed with a new team. Because Jack knows if he wants to go unchecked on the ice, he needs to get checked by the pros off the ice.
Get checked.
For over 2 decades, ACI Medical and Dental School in Eatontown has been helping students succeed. Their short-term programs can jumpstart a long-term career in less than 5 months with a 90% employment rate. They've got a medical assistant program where you can learn phlebotomy, EKG, and patient care technician skills. It's a great pathway to nursing and dental hygiene, perfect for second careers, college grads, or empty nesters. Call 732-440-4110 and learn how medical assistants can earn up to 4 national credits and 10 college credits. ACI Medical and Dental School, a new beginning on Broad Street in Eatontown. I wonder if my friend Frank Preston realizes that I was in the penalty box for the ACI Medical and Dental School Game of the Week, which featured the Brick hockey team scoring the victory in overtime 4-3. I risked life and limb for those ACI medical and dental highlights, and I realized while I was in the box, terrified that a puck could possibly hit my face or hit me in the mouth. At some point, I realized, well, I could head over to ACI Medical and Dental School, and maybe I would get a little bit of practice work done on me. So that's the things I do for ACI Medical and Dental School. They put the girls athletes in the spotlight as well. Coming up this week, we've got the 2 shore conference championship games. Those will be our ACI Medical and Dental School games of the week. We'll have the finals from Monmouth University. That's coming up on Friday. Thanks again to ACI Medical and Dental School for supporting Jersey Sports Zone. We'll be right back.
Dream big, they say. We say dream bigger. Over 3 million square feet of bigger, so you can plunge deeper, play in the snow longer, wonder greater, pose with your friends sillier, shop with your family happier, make every meal tastier, and float higher than ever. Whatever your dream is, come live it big time at American Dream.
Wrestling will be the coup de grace this week. That's how we'll be capping everything off. Rich, you saw a pretty good non-public duel last week between Don Bosco Prep and St. John Vianney. Don Bosco Prep, you've dubbed them the Iron Ivy Hammers. A trio of guys that could make some noise down in Atlantic City in a few weeks.
So, James, this week we're going to be focusing a lot on team competition and the duels, and I don't think Don Bosco is going to be there at the end of the day on Sunday at Rutgers, but when I got to see the Ironmen go up against St. John Vianney in a regular season tune-up, I realized that Don Bosco could have quite a special day in Atlantic City. There's 3 guys. They're lined up one right after the other. Santino Rodriguez at 175, number 1 in New Jersey at the moment, Beast of the East champion. At 190 pounds, you've got Nevin Matisich. He's number 3 in New Jersey at 190 pounds. At 215 pounds, the number 1 ranked wrestler in New Jersey, Don Bosco's Dante DeLuca. We know him as a great Ironman football player. These 3 guys are all committed to Ivies and all in the hunt and favored to do some major damage in Atlantic City. Rodriguez is going to Cornell. Matisich is going to Brown. DeLuca's going to Columbia. So you've got 3 potential state champions, 3 Ivy League kids, and 3 guys that could really put Don Bosco on the map in Atlantic City coming up in a few weeks. That's pretty incredible when you think about it.
Yeah, seriously. I good on them. Ivy League, clearly they got some brains, but they're a heck of an athlete. Really great athletes, too. I'm more familiar with DeLuca from the football world, but it'll be interesting to see if those 3 guys can. Normally, I'm used to seeing like St. Joe Montvale and Del Barton as the non-public guys that really do well in Atlantic City. So Bosco could come in and crash the party that we've become accustomed to seeing.
Absolutely. And again, there's a long road to go here. Districts, regions, and then you get into Atlantic City. These guys are going to be high seeds, and a lot of high seeds get to the end of the road. Sometimes there's upsets, but these guys have put themselves in a position to get to Atlantic City and try and get there to the end of the road. And I think it would be a great headline. Is Don Bosco going to get 1 champ, 2 champs, 3 champs? We're ultimately going to find out at Boardwalk Hall. I just thought it was wild that I saw these 3 guys back to back to back, and then you look and say, wow, they're all going to the Ivies. They're all phenomenal student athletes, and those are guys to keep an eye on here over the next few weeks.
Yeah, and we wish them the best of luck going forward here. So we'll wrap things up on the rundown here. We kind of started at the top saying that this is, kind of the 100-yard dash of the winter season, county conference championships, cup finals, and it all ends Sunday with the team state finals up at Rutgers in wrestling. Rich, what do you think you're looking forward to most this week?
I'm looking forward to us pulling it off. It's a great challenge for us because we're not going to be able to get to everything, but I think we're going to get to a lot of things. I literally tell James, you got South Jersey covered. So why don't we start? What are you getting as far as championship games coming up on the back end of this week?
So I will see the Burlington County Championship on Friday. Saturday, Cape Atlantic League boys and girls will be finishing up. Tri-County Conference should be finishing up. Unfortunately, the Camden County is Sunday. It will be up at Rutgers. So unfortunately, we will not have Camden County tournament championships this weekend. But yeah, those three, the Cape Atlantic League, the Tri-County Conference, Burlington County, those will be the big tournaments I'll be keeping an eye on as we go throughout the week.
Okay, so I'm going to try and see if we can pull this off, but I'm going to just talk hockey right now. Kelly Cup, McInnes Cup, Gordon Cup, Halverson Cup, Menon Cup. We're going to try and get to all 5 of those. I think we'll guarantee get to 4 of them, but we're going to try and get 5. One's on we got the Kelly on Tuesday because we taped. We got that one. And then today, we've got 4 cup games that we're going to try and get. On Friday for basketball now, we're going to try and get we will get the Shore boys and girls. We're going to get the GMC boys. We're going to try and get the GMC girls, the Bergen Jamboree boys. And then Saturday, we're going to get the Essex, CVC boys and girls, Somerset, Passaic. On Sunday, we're going to get the Union boys, the Prep A final, and, oh, by the way, 7 wrestling state championships. So I thank you guys in advance, our team, for going above and beyond, but this is where we're going to earn our keep, as we're going to try and get to all of those things. I hope I didn't jinx us, James, but I feel like we're going to pull this off and get to every one of the things we just listed, which is kind of insane. And then we'll just have to turn it right back around and start the state playoffs right after that.
Yeah, thankfully most of the state playoffs start on Tuesday the 24th, so we might actually get a day to recharge a little bit.
It could be a recovery day.
But it's going to be a sprint. It is going to be a sprint.
Yeah, no question about it. But yeah, that's it's interesting because we're going to games and we're kind of already thinking about the next thing, and then just trying to make everything happen and also do this podcast, right? Put it all together, and who's going to be our guest next week. All those kind of things. It's all in play. So it's a fun time for us, a very busy time, but we're excited to get to these championship moments because that is when we get those special things that are part of communities for generations. And I mean, hockey-wise, we got some great ones. Livingston Westfield for the McInnes, that is a fantastic game.
Ooh.
Bosco Del Barton and the Gordon is an absolute war every time.
Yep.
And then we're going to get Mo Baird and KJS and the Menon. That's another awesome game.
Hello.
Man.
Woo.
And I'm going to get St. Peter's CBA Wrestling Thursday. Winner goes to the state finals at Rutgers. And that's CBA beat them in a close match last time. So, I mean, that could go either way. But and then really Friday, Saturday we'll be all in on basketball. And then Sunday's going to be wrestling's going to be at the top of the marquee. So I'm tired just thinking about it, James, but I'm also excited. I think we're going to have some awesome stuff, and hopefully everyone enjoys the content, and we'll get everything out there as quick as we can. And that's what we do here at Jersey Sports Zone, right? We're here for the big moments, so it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and you can follow all of that along with us on our social media channels. Go to jerseysportszone.com to watch all the highlights from all these great championship and cup finals that we'll be bringing to you over the course of the next
That's
week.
a good point, James. If a reminder of what we do is as soon as the game ends, we try and put something up on social media, just a little taste, kind of a headline or one or two clips. We get that on social media right away after the game. Then we go home and we put together our highlights, post-game sound bites, all those things. And it's kind of a longer ESPN version. If it's an incredible game, we'll go 4 or 5 minutes. If it's a 2-1 hockey game, we might do a couple minutes. But those highlights are on YouTube. You can just go to jerseysportszone.com, click on it, and it'll all be right there for you to see. So, again, we're going to have some great championship moments this week. James, I appreciate you jumping on with us once again. Looking forward to seeing all the things unfold in South Jersey, and it's going to be an exciting week of championship action.
It really is. Can't wait to see how everything shakes out, and that's one of the fun parts of this job.
For James Mooney, I'm Rich Krampanis. Thanks so much for watching this week's edition, episode 22 of JSZ's Beyond the Score podcast. A reminder, you can download this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in Jersey Sports Zone or just head to jerseysportszone.com. There's a big blue panel. Click on that. You can watch it on YouTube. You can download it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else. Thanks so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next week where we will digest an incredible week of championship action. This is Beyond the Score podcast, episode 22. We'll see you next Wednesday.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
JAG Physical Therapy is a trusted name in quality treatment. Get back the life you love. Thanks to JAG Physical Therapy for supporting New Jersey athletes and Jersey Sports Zone for the last 5 years.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Get back the life you love.